Being 7 o'clock, I'll call the Board of Selectmen meeting to order. First order of business is going to be to approve the minutes from February 10th.
Make a motion to approve those.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Next, we have the oath of office for Jennifer Gamarlo Howe to the Conant Library trustees. The library already voted to approve this.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Next, we have a letter or an email from Matt from Stebbins Painting, who's been doing the work at the library. He noticed some, while they were working, he noticed some repair and repainting that needed to be done in the inside the spiral stairway that goes up there. And he gave us an estimate. He said that while they're there working anyway, they'd be willing to do the job, and they gave an estimate of $3,500 to do it. What's the board's pleasure on this?
We have the money in that line item, checked with Carrie, so I would say, I make a motion to have that work done.
I'll second that.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Carrie, can you reach out to Matt and let him know? Next, we have a couple of intent cuts. First one is for map 4, lot 50, and map 4, lot 51 off of Burt Hill Road. And the second one is map 1, lots 69 and 70 off of Manning Hill Road. There's no motion needed on these. We just need to sign them. Next is a request for property abatement for map 19, lot 16 on Back Ash Willet Road. The property was, it was double paid by the mortgage company, so it's just repayment or paying back from one of them. The total amount is $3,619.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Next, we have a letter from Sherry out to the cemetery. She's wondering, she would like to advertise for the position out to the cemetery that was ended last year. What's the board's pleasure on this?
I know that's a town employee, but I'd like to hear from the trustees on what they think. We happen to have one. I know we can't speak for the whole board, but maybe we could reach out to them.
When's their next meeting? The cemetery opens in May, right?
April.
April? Yeah. has the trustees, I know you can't speak on behalf of them, but have you guys discussed this position at all? Or the staffing at the cemetery?
She wants, as soon as she can get all the keeping done, which is hopefully gonna be done, it's whenever we approve for her work. She agreed that she would be able to go back down to 2 employees, and in addition to herself. That was just, I don't have any writing on that, that's just no verbal.
Right.
So, one of my, things I wanted to do when we got back together was to, if all the trustees were in, agreement to draft up a letter to the board of selectmen to have that third employee be, go back down to 3 total employees out there.
You said she might have the paperwork done this winter then?
That was a stipulation in the motion that we made. I put a stipulation that we need to have it done this third commission term, so.
And when was that, you had talked to her about that? This fall?
Yeah, that was before I signed off on the motion to have her work this winter, so I had questions for her. And asked her what it was.
So you were underneath the impression that the work was gonna be completed this winter then?
Correct.
And,
Well, if I remember right, that was a conversation that we had earlier in the year when we originally discussed that the trustees had decided to keep Sherry on throughout the winter and that they were gonna pay her. Because she was confident she could get the last of that paperwork done and inputted over this winter. If she was able to work the whole winter.
yeah. So if she's gonna get it done and she's the one that's saying to you that she's gonna go back with herself and 2 full-time employees?
Correct.
Or 2?
I wanted to remove the third full-time employee line item, and it was suggested that we would just keep it in there, but leave it at $1, or what have you, on the budget, which I know is the trustees'
No.
responsibility.
Right. Well, I think it definitely sounds like we're better to wait and hear from the trustees.
That was just the discussion I had with her.
Yeah. Maybe, Carrie, can you send an email to the trustees?
Yep.
Just explaining that we're looking for information on the third worker position.
That being said, it is budgeted to have that third.
Well, I know it's budgeted, but I do know in the past, the conversations were that once Sherry was done with all the extra paperwork stuff and the new building stuff and all that, and she could get back to doing some more of the everyday maintenance out there, that it would be able to go back to a two-person team. Well, 3 including Sherry.
The conversation that I had with her this fall would be in agreement with that.
Yep. All right, well, we'll table that until we hear from the trustees. Next, we have a letter here from our welfare director. She's requesting, I'm gonna just summarize it because it's fairly long. She's requesting to do no actual walk-in hours for the welfare department. This is mirroring what Swansea and a few other towns do. She's already successfully working with people just through either telephone, email, or they come in and drop off paperwork with Carrie or somebody downstairs. And she's been able to successfully get the work done without actually having to meet with people unless it's absolutely needed. So she's just asking to have no walk-in hours, and that anybody that needs their packets to apply or drop off paperwork can do so through Carrie, the town administrator. which Carrie's in agreement with. So what's the pleasure of the board on this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Non-motion carries. Now, in the financial folder, we have 1, 2, 3, 3 payments from the Police Outside Activities Fund, one for September, one for October, and one from November of 2020. September is $3,856.93. October is $1,691.15. And November is $1,773.44.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Next, we have a request for payment, the ambulance billing account. These are all reimbursements to their budget for payroll and associated fees with payroll. The total amount is $36,664.44.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Non-motion carries. Next is a payment to Stebbins Painting from the Conant Library Capital Reserve for $4,090.50.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Non-motion carries. And last in there is request from Rick for parts for rebuilding a sludge pump, and the total amount is $3,530.75.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Non-motion carries. Okay. Now, that's it for regular business and the financial folder. Now, we did receive 2 emails this week as part of citizen comments. The first one was from Lindsay Picard. Do you want me to read the entire thing? Okay. To Chairman Kalinsky. Hi, Ben. I believe you are still accepting public comment by email, and so I have a few comments to share with the Select Board today. The theme is transparency. The first is in reference to the police cruiser warrant article, which was originally approved by the Select Board and Budget Committee for the 2022 ballot. I noticed a unanimous decision by the Select Board at the January 13th meeting to remove the article. There didn't appear to be any discussion as to why, but I think what was even more concerning was the Select Board's lack of communication about the change to either the public or the Budget Committee. We had a public hearing the next day and no comment was provided. I should also mention that I emailed both Ben and Chester this question concern 3 weeks ago and neither responded. I'll answer that first question first, rather than trying to backtrack after I read the whole thing. First, it wasn't a unanimous vote, it was a 4-to-1 vote. And the board had decided, the board had voted to, the vote passed to remove that warrant article. Because after further looking into the cruiser fleet and the capital reserve money, it was decided that this year it was not necessary to go for a new cruiser and the capital reserve money. And it wasn't discussed with the budget committee because after the budget committee is responsible for the actual town and school budgets. They do a recommendation recommendation or not recommended on money warrant articles. However, the school and the town have control over it's the school and town's warrant articles that are on the ballot. And the public hearing that was had the very next day was on the budget and not on warrant articles. My second comment is regarding the $400,000 surplus in the general fund. It's been asked repeatedly, where did that money come from? There should be a clear and specific answer for that, and to date, one hasn't been provided. Maybe the town auditor should come to a board meeting and review your audit for the public to see. We did address this a couple times, and what I'm going to do is tomorrow I'm going to get in touch with, or I'm going to talk to Amy, our business manager, and have her come in to the next meeting and explain it, because I don't know all them terms and stuff they use. So I want to have Amy come in and explain it so that everybody can be clear. I'm hoping that'll happen next week, but I don't know. Finally, what is going on with our chief of police? You could be introducing the public to the interim chief. I believe it's Officer Fisher. I see every week at the meetings, but even I don't actually know who that is. It's worrying to see him at your non-public session week after week and have no update on the ongoing plan for the position. Is it even posted? If not, why? How many active officers do we have right now, tonight, patrolling our town? I have more to say on this subject as well, but frankly, it's more appropriate to allow you to respond in real time. And that's the end of it. So she goes on to, I thank you in advance for reading my comments. Sincerely, Lindsay Picard of 96 Richmond Road. I'm only pulling out my phone because this is where I put the list of officers so I could read it. As far as a police chief, we don't have an interim police chief or anybody. We have not been accepting any applications for police chief. We're still in discussion on the direction we want to go there, and once we do, it will be a position that'll be posted and advertised. I don't know why you're shaking your head now.
I have a follow-up question that I can't ask.
We do have, so as right now we have a lieutenant who is Jim Fisher, who is also acting officer in charge. And then we have Sergeant Chris Fox, who we've just recently hired. We have, for certified full-time patrolmen, we have Josh Edson and Adam Howard, and uncertified, he's still new and hasn't been through the academy yet, is Jonah Merkel. And those are the 3 full-time positions. And then part-time, we still have Brendan Bosquet. We lost Steve Gordon last week as a full-time officer, but we kept him on as a part-time officer. So Steve Gordon's part-time, and we hired Gary Phillips as a part-time patrolman. And that's what we have for officers right now. So there's 5 full-time and 3 part-time people. I'm just rereading it to see if to save dragging this on for another week, what is your follow-up question?
Actually, there's two. One, your minutes from 113 reflect a 5-0 vote. So if you think that it was 4-1, you might want to go back to your minutes and amend that.
Okay.
And two, where is your conversation about the police chief position happening? Because it should be happening in public. There's nothing about that conversation that should be non-public. So you commented that you're still trying to decide what that position looks like?
Correct.
When are you having that conversation?
We had asked Officer Fisher to get us some information during our last non-public meeting, but we still haven't received any information, that the requested information.
I would encourage you to have that conversation in public or at home. There's nothing non-public about the position, the job qualifications, the job description, the expectations, what's going to happen with that position. It is contracted. None of that is protected under non-public.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The second letter we have is from Natalie Quevedo.
Quevedo,
Huh?
Quevedo,
Quevedo?
Quevedo,
Like a K.
like a K.
K?
Yes,
Quevedo?
yes, you got
Okay.
it.
That's a name I'll never pronounce right.
Keep trying.
I think every time I pronounce it differently, hoping that one time I'll get it right. She emailed Carrie, I have a simple statement that I would like to submit to the Select Board this evening. Thanks, Carrie. Dear Select Board, I would like the opportunity to participate in my local government and ask that you open meetings back up for public comment. My best, Natalie Quevedo,
You got it.
112 Ashwillet Street. And I think until some of the for the same reasons why we originally, back in March or April, when we originally did away with public comment, was because to shorten up the meetings due to COVID restrictions, and
Can I speak to this, please?
until some of those, and that's why we re-shortened up the meetings again. So until some of those COVID restrictions start to be lifted and things start looking normal again, we're probably going to stay about where we're at.
May I speak to that, please? If the chair or the board would allow?
If what?
If the chair or board would allow, I would like to speak to that.
Do you have another question on it?
I do.
Yeah, I'll allow it quickly.
Okay. First off, Ben, I just want to correct your statement. You never stopped public comment back in April. You just lessened it to 15 minutes. Second, I come here every week and I record these meetings for you all as a service to the public. I know you denied the motion to record them yourselves. I spent well over $700 doing this as a service to our community. I would like that if the people who are here would have the opportunity to be able to speak their mind, I will stop recording. And then the entire room is going to get full of people who want to still be involved and cannot do so safely. So it's, what, are you going to put the public in danger, or are you going to open it back up for people to participate? So I kind of leave it in your hands at that point. You don't want to pack this room full of people when we have COVID numbers rising.
It was never packed before, so what makes you think it's gonna be packed now?
I'm pretty positive people will come.
Okay, we'll stop recording then and let it pack. That's my,
All right. I think transparency is also wonderful, and that you should allow me to address you as an elected official. And to echo what Lindsay said, bring things to the public. People want to know what you're doing. Tell them what you're doing. It's not that hard. Thanks.
Thank you. That's everything I have in the folder. Does the board have anything else?
we were gonna discuss 6:30 meetings.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
wanna wait for Gloria?
Wait for a full board,
She
yeah.
was on board though at 6:30.
Well, I'd still like to,
Okay.
Yeah, she was on board with it, but I'd like a full
Yeah.
board here to actually make the vote. Just so everybody's aware, we're looking at possibly changing the start time of the selectmen meetings to 6:30 rather than 7. It's just never made sense to start a meeting that late in the evening. But, did you have anything else?
Yeah, Dale, the sidewalk machine, we wanna talk about that.
Well, after many phone calls with different dealers that have these used machines, and having them send pictures and the close-ups and the hours, and trying to get all the information on these, and they're anywhere from Maine to Pennsylvania. I mean, they're scattered everywhere. They basically are the same machine that we have, the same conditions, the same hours. I mean, other than they don't have a blown motor, but, you know, there's no guarantee how long that motor is gonna last in these used machines. We've got a lot of used parts, or new parts, excuse me, on our machine. It only makes sense to me to put a new motor in ours, and we know what we have, rather than go buy a used one for $15,000 and, you know, could come home and blow it the first time out. You don't know. There's no warranties with them machines.
Dale, can you get us a quote on that in writing?
Yeah, I'll get it in writing tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
It was gonna be somewhere in the $10,000 for out the door, ready to go. But I don't know what your thoughts are, but that's kind of what I come up with. Just made more sense to me.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And we have that money in the capital reserve for
Oh,
equipment.
yeah.
Make that motion if you want.
Well, yeah, we need to,
I know you wanna, you wanna cap what we're gonna spend on that thing.
Yeah.
If there's any surprises, you know, we wanna know about it, for
Yeah.
sure. Like I said, as far as the end of that, pump, he won't know that till he pulls it apart,
yeah.
you know, and that was $2,000 for that pump.
Are we gonna be able to use the turbo, the new
Yes,
turbo?
they're
we
gonna
get?
take all the parts off ours and put them on this long block.
And it won't hurt it any?
No,
Okay.
no, the long block, it's all brand new. Makes the most sense to me. But I'll get the written estimate tomorrow, and, when I get that estimate, are we gonna have to wait till next Wednesday to make a decision to get this thing going? That's the only thing
Make a decision and get it going.
I was thinking he had told you 10,000. I mean, can we make a motion if it's 10,000 or less to go ahead with the repair?
Yeah,
It's gonna be a week anyway, from the time he orders it till the time he gets it and gets it in. You know,
We
we've got,
can, I was curious as to whether or not he,
If it's gonna be more, then we'll have to readdress it next week.
yeah, well, I'm looking more at if it's gonna cost any more, is it really worth putting the money into? So if, I'm wondering, is there a way that he'd be willing to pull it apart first before he even orders the engine?
Get that pump off.
If he can pull it apart first and see if there's nothing else that pops up. I mean, I just hate to have an engine on order that we can't get refunded for, and he starts pulling it apart and find out we need another $5,000 to fix it.
Well, the only thing in question was the injector pump, right?
was the injector pump, the shaft on the injector pump, that was
So
the only,
that would put it to 12,000.
right.
So
Why don't we make a motion to approve 12,000 and hope that it's 10?
and go for less. That way they can get going.
We have several storms stacked up and coming for the next
Yeah.
couple of weeks, so it's.
Yeah, the forecast doesn't look very good at all,
No,
so,
it's,
which I get. It's, I mean, unfortunately, it's gonna
season,
break
you
down
know.
the only time we use it, but.
How much?
Yeah, well, the thing is, if if it's over 10,000, we have to have three estimates, so.
Right. But I'm,
Let them pull it apart and see what we gotta have, and then we'll know exactly.
well, and I'm still,
then you're still a week off before we can make
Yeah,
a
I know.
decision.
but we could go off the original estimate, which is, I'm fine with, as long as it's not gonna cost any more money, and have him pull it apart first.
I will ask him,
And as soon as he gets it apart and finds out that there's definitely not
any damage.
another $10,000 worth of damage that needs to be fixed,
Yeah,
then he can go ahead and order the motor so that
okay,
he can get it put right in.
all right. I'll check with him first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine with going off the original estimate and doing up to 10,000.
All right, I'll make a motion to go up to 10,000 on the repair.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Thank you, Dale, just keep us in the loop.
Is that all you had, Jay?
Yeah.
Anybody else from the board have anything else? All right, this time I'll entertain a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A32, little c and little e.
So move.
Second.
Roll call, Jack Marsh.
Aye.
James Rokes.
Aye.
Herb Stevens.
Aye.
Ben Klansky, aye. We're now in non-public, and I do not foresee us having any other business.